your child melts down at birthday parties while other kids are having fun. Tags on clothing send them into a spiral. The sound of a vacuum cleaner might as well be a fire alarm. And every single day, you're exhausted from walking on eggshells and trying to prevent the next sensory explosion. You've been told it's just a phase, and you've been told they'll grow out of it. And some days maybe you wonder if you're doing something wrong, if you're being too accommodating, or if other parents think you're making excuses for bad behavior. But here's what nobody is telling you. Your child's nervous system is experiencing the world completely different than other kids. It's not behavioral. It's not a parenting problem. And it's definitely not something they're doing on purpose. Today, we're going to explain exactly what's happening inside your child's body when they experience sensory overload, why traditional approaches often plateau, and most importantly, how to finally help your child's nervous system find balance. Let me tell you about Aria. According to her parents, she was often an extremely unhappy little girl. She refused to be in unfamiliar places with unfamiliar people. When her family tried to go out, which they'd occasionally attempt, it would end in Aria completely melting down from sensory overload. Every outing was a gamble. Every new environment was a threat. This isn't rare. Today, 1 in 6 children experience sensory processing issues. That's millions of families dealing with daily sensory struggles, being told, wait and see, while their children suffer. But Aria's story didn't end there. After starting Neurologically-Focused Chiropractic Care, her parents witnessed something incredible. She went from screaming when anybody greeted her to smiling ear to ear, happily greeting everyone she met. Her sleep improved, her speech blossomed, and the child who was trapped in sensory overload finally found freedom. Sensory processing disorder is actually a nervous system problem. It's not a behavior problem. Think of your child's nervous system as an air traffic controller trying to coordinate thousands of flights all at once. In kids with sensory challenges, that air traffic controller is completely overwhelmed. When the nervous system can't properly filter and process sensory input, every day feels like being dropped into a chaotic carnival. Glaring lights, screaming sounds, overwhelming smells, everything's spinning out of control. This affects all 7 senses. Your auditory, so sounds, visual, lights, olfactory, smells, gustatory, taste and texture, tactile, touch, vestibular, balance, and most importantly, proprioception, knowing where your body is in space. And out of all the senses, proprioception is critical for brain development and function, yet it's the one no one talks about. There are 3 different types of sensory challenges, and depending on the type, we will know exactly what's really happening. First is the hypersensitive kids. These kids have an overactive response to normal input. They're the ones covering their ears, ripping off tags, melting down in crowded places, and their nervous system is stuck in overdrive. And then there's the hypersensitive kids, which are going to be the opposite. They tend to need intense input just to feel regulated. They're constantly touching, crashing into things, seeking that sensory input that their nervous system craves. But most kids we see have both, which seems a little confusing until you understand that their nervous system is dysregulated and swinging between extremes trying to find balance. When you see these patterns, you're not seeing difficult behavior. You're seeing a nervous system that's stuck and can't self-regulate. Sensory issues don't just appear randomly. They develop through what we call the perfect storm, which is a series of stressors that accumulate from pregnancy through early childhood. And it starts usually with prenatal stress, then birth trauma or interventions, followed by early life challenges like colic, constipation, or frequent antibiotics. And each stressor adds another layer of tension to the nervous system until it gets stuck in sympathetic overdrive, like a smoke alarm that won't stop going off. And this creates something called dysautonomia, where the nervous system literally cannot return to a calm, regulated baseline. And when it comes to kids who exhibit sensory processing disorder, more often than not, they are already in some sort of therapy, but they often plateau. In occupational therapy and sensory integration therapy, they're incredibly valuable, but when the nervous system foundation is stuck in stress mode, it's like trying to remodel a house built on a cracked foundation. You can't teach coping strategies to a nervous system that's neurologically stuck in fight or flight mode. Many families add therapy after therapy, but without addressing the neurological root cause. Progress stalls like pushing a car with the parking brake still on. And this is why so many parents feel frustrated when their child works so hard in therapy but can't generalize those skills to real life. Here's what we want you to remember. Your child isn't broken. They're stuck. Their nervous system is trapped in a pattern that can be shifted. When we address the neurological root cause through neurologically focused chiropractic care, we help release that tension on the nervous system. We then restore balance and we help your child's brain finally process their world without constant overwhelm. You don't need more labels. You don't need to wait and see. You just need answers and action.